There you are, Hispaniola, Senor Salvador.
I'm extremely grateful. I shall stay on board. I'm not going ashore to look around until you're ready to set sail again.
Aren't you coming with us to see the governor?
Oh, a police officer in the palace of the royal governor? But for what reason? We do our job from undercover.
Well, I don't envy you.
Why not, Commander? Discovering who is aiding the pirates to plunder our shipping may not be so difficult. You know, the really difficult thing is your job, to apprehend them and bring them in.
Stand by to fire the salute!
We had adventures that were really simply thrilling. For goodness sake, darling, we came very near perishing at the hands of buccaneers.
Oh, what a pity you didn't.
Well, sir, what do you think of it?
Your Excellency, this is a reception that equals the ones at the court of the King of England, and your splendid hospitality will be duly noted in my confidential report to London.
I can only say I am grateful, however unworthy Signor Anderson. Flattery is my weakness.
If only we Englishmen could have more such governors as yourself, Your Excellency.
Perish the thought. With your permission. Ah, beautiful, my dear. A real masterpiece.
There's no use being complimentary to me. You can save that for the ladies at the ball. Thank you.
How do you like it here?
You may go. Oh, Uncle, it's awful. I want to leave Hispaniola and return to Spain as soon as I possibly can.
I've given my whole career preparing for your future. Isabella, please listen to reason. Here is where your future lies. In Spain, the nobility is only allowed by the king to...
Do you lead the useless lives of courtiers? We've been all over this more than once. But I prefer the court life. Any woman would. What can you offer?
The king's resident of Santa Cruz would be pleased to show you his hospitality.
And if I refuse to accept?
Your father, as my elder brother, left you rich in name and titles, but...
Poor in money and dowry. Well, it's not reason enough to throw me at that man's head. At court, you know, they used to ridicule his pretensions.
Today, he's the king's resident of Santa Cruz. If they don't ridicule him now, they wouldn't dare.
The captain of the galleon Victoria, just arrived from Spain, is requesting to be received by Your Excellency.
Magnificent. I might go back on that galleon and avoid a visit to Santa Cruz.
I will see him tomorrow.
Your Excellency.
His Excellency Don Fernando Linares, the Count of Cordova, custodian of the Holy Crown, Royal Governor of Hispaniola, and his niece, the noble Countess Isabella Linares, companion and maid of honor to Her Most Catholic Majesty, the Queen of Spain.
Can these creatures be the gentlemen of your court?
They're fabulously rich planters, my dear.
How could I ever live here? They all have the faces of pirates.
Oh, they're making progress. Nothing like gold to transform even their ugly faces.
How much time altogether to make the voyage?
8 months and 2 weeks, precisely.
Why, that's impossible.
Before long, they'll make it in only 7 months.
Oh, what marvels they can do.
Oh, that's progress.
This is Baron Franco Maria Perez, our burgomaster.
For us in this intemperate corner of the world, your very presence is like a welcome breath of spring.
Forgive me if I must disturb you, Your Excellency, but Commander Monterrey insists on being received at once. He submits his credentials as an envoy of the king to claim an immediate audience.
Then show him in.
Your Excellency.
His Majesty always seems to find these overzealous officers who interpret all instructions as declarations of war. Sir Frederick Henderson, Ambassador of the King of England.
I think I will remain here for a long time.
Excuse me, Your Excellency. Captain Luis Monterrey, commander of the ship Victoria. By warrant of His Majesty.
I will leave you to your affairs of state.
My niece, Doña Isabella, may I present Commander Luis Monterrey?
But we two have met before, isn't that so, Commander?
I don't really remember. I don't think so.
Do you mind if we withdraw, Commander? Excuse me.
My word, it seems the niece of the governor must have been particularly smitten by someone.
He's pleasant enough. A real sea wolf. Monterrey. Monterrey. I don't recall a family by that name.
There's none to recall.
With pirates. The Spanish Navy should be protecting the trade routes.
Oh, yes, certainly, Your Excellency. I personally will protect the cargo of silver which you consigned to me.
Your personal assurances, Commander, make me feel more at ease.
The Victoria is a ship mounting 40 guns. No one could possibly be mad enough to challenge her.
Have you forgotten the Dry Tortugas, Commander, and the stronghold of the pirates of the coast, bristling with ships ready and lying in wait for their victims?
We will load up in secrecy. Spain needs money to buy weapons.
Is there a war?
Every day, England grows more jealous of our power.
Very well, then. If that's how it is, we must respect the wishes of our king. Thank you, Commander.
Also, the Court of London would be delighted to have you.
Apparently, your rejected plebeian has had more success with the other ladies.
Is it true that French perfumes will be subject to taxation?
Does the Holy Inquisition continue to burn witches?
Excuse me, please.
Why do you ask me these questions, my ladies? I couldn't answer them to save my life.
Will you permit me, ladies, to save the captain's life?
Thank you. I was just about to sink to the bottom.
That's exactly what you deserve.
I know. Forgive me. But seeing you unexpectedly that way,
Yes?
I suddenly remembered everything I've been trying so hard to forget.
I'm embarrassed as a woman can be who refuses a man.
Isabella.
You promised me you would forget, and yet you still love me as much as ever. I refused you once in Spain, and the distance from Madrid doesn't make you my equal any more than you were then.
What is it inside there, gold?
Maybe it is, from the way they keep watching us. Quickly!
Good morning, Commander. You can see I've had everything done with military rapidity.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I must take advantage of the tide. Shall we go over the last details?
Delighted. Well, that does it. As of now, the responsibility for the silver is yours. And the best of luck, Commander.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Will you have some more wine?
Oh, gladly. What an excellent Madeira. The salt air hasn't affected it in the least. And what course are you taking?
That's a secret, Your Excellency. I will set the course as soon as we are at sea.
That's what I expected, Commander.
Come in.
Loading operations have been completed, sir.
Very good. Prepare to sail.
The course, sir?
For the moment, just see the ship sails out of Hispaniola.
Did you know, Commander, that I had decided to return to Spain aboard your Guerra? My uncle convinced me to remain here a while.
Well, that has saved me an unpleasant refusal.
Are you saying you wouldn't have me as a passenger aboard?
It's not I, madam, but regulations that don't allow a woman to sail on a man of war.
You're every inch the proper sailor. It's really a pity you have to be so terribly serious.
Serious? Perhaps I could be wrong, but didn't I amuse you last night?
I won't deny you entertaining for a moment. I wish you well, Commander.
Make fast the hatches!
Prepare to cast off!
What's this? Someone coming ashore?
It's Senor Salvador, a merchant.
Ah. Best of luck to you again, Commander.
Ready to cast off! Cast off by the bow! Cast off astern! Full starboard tiller! Steady as she goes! Chief, got a report.
Powder magazine in order, ammunition and pieces secured, sir.
Oh. What's on your breath, sailor?
Tobacco from Havana.
Well, that won't kill the rum from Jamaica. Let me tell you this. If you fall from up there and don't end up with a broken neck, I'll break it for you. Second watch.
Wreckage off the starboard bow!
Women! They've been shipwrecked. We must pick them up. Give the word to bring the ship about. We've spotted some people on a raft, sir. We're closing in on it.
What? Who gave the order? Have them get back on course.
Sir, the raft has some women on it.
We can't stop for any reason.
But if these women are abandoned at sea, it amounts to the same thing as murder.
They must have been set adrift by pirates.
They're crazy. Why would they let them go without a ransom?
They wanted to give you a present.
Thank you. Our crew made us get on the raft and put off before our ship was attacked and boarded by the pirates.
Who was it that gave the order to heave to?
The bosun, sir.
Clear the deck immediately and take these women below to the hold. Get back on our original course at once. When they've recovered, interrogate them and report to me.
You want some water?
Rum. Tell me what your name is, my kind sir. so I can put in a good word for you in my prayers.
Manually.
Do you like rum?
Now, these are the captain's orders. Issue blankets to all the women.
They don't want any blankets over them.
They're closing in.
All hands, battle station! Open the hatches! Stand by to fire! Break out the powder! Surrender without a fight. You've already lost and you're our prisoner. Surrender, not the slightest harm will come to you.
Chief Gunner. Fire ready or broadside from starboard.
Surrender if you want to avoid a massacre of all your men.
The powder's underwater.
We've got you covered on two sides.
The powder magazine has been flooded. There's a traitor aboard.
Prepare for boarding! Don't put up any resistance, you. All we want is the cargo you're carrying.
Bosun! Stop the ship.
Look lively. Move!
Without these, they won't know what we're carrying. The silver's well hidden.
Stand where you are. Throw down your weapons. That's the way. You do. If anyone makes a move, kill him. Where's the captain?
This is a man of war. We have nothing aboard that's worth stealing.
Perhaps you have a few beautiful ladies with you.
A few personal belongings, that's all.
Did you hear that, men? He only has a few personal belongings, that's all. My dear Captain, I would never permit myself to deprive you of them. I'll be content to relieve you of only a few worthless bales of cotton. Compliments are in order, girls. You did a perfect job.
And so did you.
Quickly, get the bales of cotton off. Don't you see how badly we need it?
I wanted to save my men from certain death.
Have you nothing else to say in your defense, Commander?
Nothing else. I only want to repeat that the pirates knew perfectly well of the cargo of silver. Someone betrayed us. When the government agent, Pedro Salvador, comes, he will prove it.
If he exists. There's no one who knows of him in Hispaniola. Commander, you have exhausted the court. This witness of yours must be imaginary. I remind you that you are being held to trial with a charge of high treason brought against you.
The prosecution will continue.
Do the regulations of the Royal Navy allow the embarkation of women aboard the warships of His Majesty?
No.
And yet you raised no objection to admitting aboard the accomplices of the pirates.
We thought they were shipwrecked.
Ah, we thought they were. You and who else? Who gave the order to stop your ship at sea?
The second officer.
Let this witness be called to testify.
Killed on board, sir.
Commander, the only witness who could corroborate your testimony was killed by the one shot it took to defeat you. One shot against the man-of-war mounting a battery of 40 cannon.
I'm not trying to excuse myself, but I protest the charge of high treason. I repeat that there is someone who knows everything about this plot. The police official, Pedro Salvador. I know you doubt his existence, but he is on this island.
Was it possible for you to trace this man?
No. We made a thorough search. He presented himself to His Excellency the Governor saying he was a merchant. It seems that he disappeared after the departure of the Victoria.
Gentlemen, I am not a traitor. On my word of honor, I was only doing my duty in avoiding a massacre.
The court will consider the evidence.
Your Honor, there's a man outside who wants to appear as a witness.
Objection. The testimony has already been recorded.
Your Honor, it may be Pedro Salvador.
I present a petition that the court hear the new witness's testimony.
Your petition is granted.
It's Pedro Salvador.
The witness will testify under oath.
Pedro.
In the name of His Majesty, the King of Spain, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
In the name of His Majesty, the King of Spain, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
There's no more that we can do now.
Take him out of the courtroom.
You continually cite witnesses who are no longer able to speak.
Someone made sure that he couldn't speak.
I asked for an investigation.
I object.
Objection sustained.
I ask for a sentence of the full penalty.
In my capacity as governor of Hispaniola, I would like to point out to the court that Commander Luis Monterrey has had an unblemished record to his credit. Judge him, therefore, with benevolence, since he perhaps may only be guilty of unfortunate judgment.
The court will take into consideration all extenuating circumstances.
The court will now withdraw. Everybody rise.
All we can do now is trust in the common sense of the jury.
Commander,
I'm afraid I have no right to be called that.
your merits alone open the doors to advancement at the court of Madrid. They will get you out of this court.
Isabella, I think that it's the last time
Oh, now don't be so dramatic. Or were you trying to upset me? It was only in my case that the regulations were observed. But then perhaps you found the pirates' women more interesting, more to your liking.
I think you've said everything you wanted to. Now you can return to your equals.
I only want to give you some good advice. You should watch out with women. You never have luck with us, do you?
The court is now in session. Everybody rise. Approach the court to hear the verdict.
Luis Monterrey, before hearing this court deliver its verdict, have you anything further to say on your own behalf?
Yes, Your Honor. Sentence me for one mistake, but not for high treason against Spain.
You will proceed to deliver the sentence.
In the name of His Most Catholic Majesty, the King of Spain, this court finds the accused Luis Monterrey guilty of negligence in command and of complicity with the pirates, and therefore condemns him to death. In consideration of the previous merit shown by this commander, the penalty of death is commuted to deportation for life at hard labor in a penal colony.
I must execute the sentence of this court, although it may be personally painful to do so. Luis Monterrey, I now degrade you. Surrender me your sword and commission.
Luis! Luis!
On your feet, get to work.
Drink.
What's he faking now?
Who's faking? It's malaria.
Oh, malaria, is it? Doctor!
Have some pity. It's malaria.
Stop! Luis, keep out of this.
Leave him alone. I'll take his place. Murderer. Pedro! He's done for. I swear I'll make him pay for this.
Hurry up and get that spar in place. Have it taken aloft and replace the other one. It's split in two. It's about to fall.
Unchain us and we'll take it up there.
Hey, bosun! Strike off these chains here.
I'll need him and 2 other men who are not afraid to climb up on the yardarm.
I want 2 volunteers.
Just now, sir, one of the prisoners died below.
Throw him overboard.
What about services for the dead, sir?
Have all hands assembled on the main deck at once. The poor devil deserves a Christian burial. Come on, look lively there.
Yes. If it goes badly, we're finished. If we have to die anyway, better do it fast. Gogo, look!
the depths of the seas and of the roaring waves and of the heavens, with thy mercy receive him and grant him thy pardon. Amen.
Before the soldiers leave the deck, we must chop away this spar. Well, let's start chopping. There is a shield. Come on!
Luis, are you wounded?
No, it's nothing. Sword!
What do you intend to do?
I'll answer you. How do you intend to die? Hold on! Surrender me your sword at once if you want to avoid a massacre. You, Captain Fernandez, are free to embark on a launch without your men. Lower the launch!
Now put your back to the oar, you slave driver!
Give him provisions and water enough for a week, and may God have mercy on his soul.
Why should we?
We are men without a country, but not without honor. Is that clear?
Santa Cruz. For us of the Tortugas, it's like falling off a log to capture it. First, we land here at the old port. Pass over the canal, go overland through the forest, and arrive at the citadel from the rear. Easy, isn't it? Provided there is one ship standing off the coast to draw down the Spanish garrison's fire. What do you say, Captain Lamotte?
I am afraid my ship is too fragile to face the batteries of the fortress.
And you, Captain Brooke, are the Irish also going to say they are too frightened to go?
Not frightened, Olanese. I promised all my childhood companions that we'd grow old together. In Ireland.
Rock. You will sail in as close as you can to the coast and open fire on the Spanish batteries while we attack the walls of the city from the rear.
What city?
Santa Cruz.
Why should I be the one to act as clay pigeon for the Spaniards? But are you going to attack Santa Cruz by day or by night?
By night. What does it matter?
Well, I'm afraid at night they couldn't see me.
But this is a chance that comes once in a lifetime. You're all a bunch of blockheads. 3 days from now, there's a ball at the Citadel. There will be ladies with golden earrings and covered with pearls and diamonds. Gold and silver to be had for the asking. What's happened now?
There's a ship in port.
Whose is it?
I never saw it before.
Get out of here!
Friendly Tortugas, huh?
You'll have to leave your men here.
Are you afraid?
I'm not going to trust you with them, even if your ship is flying the pirate flag.
If I don't come back in half an hour, take the ship and put out to sea.
No!
Go on.
That one's our chief, Bolognese.
What do you want in the Tortugas? Who are you?
My name wouldn't mean anything to you. But I command a 40-gun ship and have a good crew. I want to stay here in the Tortugas with the pirates of the coast.
What else do you want of us? Our women also? Captain,
Nobody.
I know one thing about you, Captain, as you say, nobody. You're a proper mariner, you are. You sailed into the channel from the northeast, avoiding the part where the reefs are. Perfect. You want to live as one of us? Well, I'd like to give you the opportunity. That is, providing these gentlemen will permit you to. Captain Lamotte?
Yes.
Captain Brooke?
Yes.
Captain Rock?
Yes.
Let's hear the proposal.
Santa Cruz. Clear out, all of you. This is the fortress. You're attacking the Spaniards from offshore. And stand in as close to shore as possible.
And go to the bottom. Do you imagine that I can attack a fortress as though it were a ship?
I'm imagining that whoever wants to join the pirates of the coast won't be afraid to stand firm under fire from the Spanish guns while we attack and capture the fortress from the rear. A proper sailor like yourself will be sure to avoid damage from the batteries.
And if I should lose my ship?
Then we'll come and pick you up. You will have proved that you are trustworthy.
You will come to our rescue if our ship goes down?
I give you my word. What do you say? Is it a deal?
I accept.
Tell your men to come ashore. There's a party in your honor. it take to cheer you up? Not even my own woman can heat the ice water in your veins. Why don't you at least give this a try, Captain? Or do you prefer to see something even more effective? Dance for him. Dance for him. And pull off those rags.
That's enough! Stop it. Haven't you already decided he is coming with us to Santa Cruz?
Come with me.
Let's leave him alone. It's the least we can do for a man who is condemned to death.
You were risking your very life, Captain.
I've never liked to see a woman being forced to do something she doesn't want to do.
Olenese is a brute, I know, and I loathe him.
But still you obey him.
At certain moments, I could snatch a weapon and kill him. And moments when he holds me close in his embrace, I can't resist him. Then I know I'm his woman. I help him carry out his most daring plans. I once drifted on a raft for days to catch the attention of a ship with a hidden cargo of silver.
You're a brave girl. How did you know what course the ship was following?
Well, the captain was bound to follow only one course if he knew the currents.
And how did you know about the cargo?
Take my advice. Don't ask such questions. Captain, whatever your name is. A penny for your thoughts.
I'm thinking of what I agreed to do for Olenese.
Not like in Spain, but the life here is not too tedious. I and my guests will recall this reception, especially on account of your presence.
It's kind of you to say so, and I'm even more pleased that you invited me.
I trust you will extend your stay here.
Yes, I'd like to.
Everyone ashore. We'll all march together for the time being. You first. Follow him.
silence gives me the creeps.
Captain Lamont. Attack from the left side. Captain Brooke, from the right. Rock and I will attack them from the center. Is that clear?
Will Captain Nobody be as good as his word? Will he bring his ship within range of the fortress?
Well, if he does, he will pay for it with his neck. And if he fails us, we will pay with our own.
He'll risk it. He'll risk it.
And we'll wait for him here.
Open fire!
You hear that? Punctual as an appointment between two lovers.
I beg you to conduct yourselves with calm. There's no reason to be afraid. You know our soldiers are here to defend us all. The fortress is quite impregnable.
Well, we made it on the dot.
Let's rush them.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for having prepared this welcome. You wish to make the formal presentations, or do you prefer instead that we dispense with etiquette, huh?
You'll pay for this outrage, you cutthroat.
Leave that one alone. He's mine.
Olanese, we'd better be moving out of here.
Take this woman to the ship. And don't lay a hand on her. Everybody out of here.
We can't run off before we save the captain who attacked the fortress.
Have you lost your mind?
That was our agreement with him. You're not going back on your word now.
I don't have time to bother with him. Now get out of my sight before I break you in two. Fall back through the town.
Keep it up!
We'll give them more time. I'm keeping my word to Olanese.
My captain, we'll be blown sky high.
Prepare to abandon the ship!
All hands on deck! Will only come and put us out of our misery.
Well, he's one they won't have to worry about. I might have known it. I can see now that we have been betrayed. He never intended to come and pick us up. He's left it to the Spaniards to do away with us.
Madame. Perhaps the company doesn't give you any pleasure, my well-bred lady. Is that how they taught you to behave?
Why not take a whip to her, Olanese?
I'll whip you first.
The ceremony can begin now.
The whole lot of you are invited. And mourn for him. I want you to cry. Fellow pirates of the coast, companions and enemies of the departed, I propose a toast to the success of his long and arduous voyage to the devil.
What name shall we drink to him by? No one knows what his name was.
Let's call him something. Captain Misfortune. To the repose of the late Captain Misfortune.
greetings to all you pirates of the coast.
We're almost overwhelmed with joy at your return.
I'm very grateful to you for having organized such a nice funeral. But sometimes the dead come back to ask for their part of the inheritance.
Let's hear what you have to say.
You must live up to your agreement with me. You couldn't come and help me as you promised. Very well. But now I want my share. You will divide your share with me.
You're expecting too much.
I don't think so. I appeal to your captains.
Half of your booty belongs to him.
And our laws say so.
It's just as he says.
Very well, then. You shall have everything that's coming to you. Are you satisfied now?
The gold and silver will go to my men. I want this woman.
I'm not going to let you have her.
Then I'll take her.
Let him be killed, Madonna. Just teach him a good lesson.
Let you kill a man when he's unarmed. Come on and fight like a man, you coward.
I can't really believe that it's you. And after the way I treated you so badly.
Isabella.
And you were ready to risk your life for me. Oh, my Luis.
darling.
I belong to you now.
Now I'm an outlaw.
It doesn't matter any longer what you are. You love me and I'm staying with you.
No, it's not possible. I have 2 men that I can trust to accompany you. Poro! Go! You'll go back with them. You'll soon be in Hispaniola. There's no danger. All the pirate ships are here.
Please don't send me away.
If it were only possible, I'd never let you out of my sight again. You must go now.
Oh, please, come with me.
An officer who's been degraded is compromised forever, so this is goodbye.
Goodbye, Luis.
Were you listening?
Yes. But I'll never give away your secret, Captain. You have my word of honor.
Thank you.
I'll hang the whole pack of them. I won't have any peace until I see every last pirate with a rope around his neck.
Uncle, one of them saved my life, otherwise I wouldn't be here.
I never heard of those dogs doing anything for nothing. I'll pay the rascal off sooner or later, whether he causes ransom or reward.
No, I don't think so. The man who saved me from dishonor and death was not one of the pirates. He was Commander Luis Monterrey.
Monterrey? But are you quite sure?
Yes, as sure as I am of being here.
Monterrey? On the Tortugas? How could he possibly...
I don't know.
Oh, this is incredible. It's incredible. Monterrey on the Tortugas. Safe and sound.
You will help him, won't you, to redeem his honor?
Why should I?
Because he's innocent.
Innocent, is he?
Yes. I beg you, Uncle, help him if you can.
I promise I'll do everything to have him exonerated and restored to duty.
Governor! You'll excuse me, sir. I bring you a message of the utmost importance from the Viceroy.
Urgency is no excuse for you to dispense with good manners.
Is it bad news?
Yes. We're at war.
The kings of England and Spain have decided to lock horns with each other. And who gains? We do!
We are! Let's throw in with a stronger power.
The English fleet is the most powerful. Let's join up with them.
The idea has its attractions. The English would pay, and pay well, to have us. And we are in a position to round out the prize. Legitimately. Raiding cities along the coast.
Then it's hurrah for the English!
I say for Spain! do you come from, Brooke?
From Ireland! From Ireland!
The Irish are enemies of the English. And you? Have you forgotten the windmills of La Mancha? And you? Don't you dream of the red earth of Castile? And you? Haven't you spoken to me of the Asturias? Lamont, you're a Frenchman. And France is not with the English.
I see you're cured. What's become of your eye patch? From now on, our companion can see doubly well.
You used to fish at Barcelona. You were an innkeeper in Seville, weren't you? And you, and you, and you, and all of you. What language do you speak? Here amongst you, I found a little bit of my own home in this faraway country. But you make me ashamed of the blood that runs in our veins. This is a grave period for our country. But if we help her to come through it, if we side with Spain, not only will we get as much as we would from the English, but we could also regain our liberty, obtain a royal pardon. Whatever the wrongs we've committed.
Did you hear that? Would you obtain a pardon? Yes. Would you like to have your pockets full of gold? Yes. Well, then, what more do you expect to get? Stupid gallows bait. Are you or aren't you good Spaniards? Well, all right. Hurrah for Spain, then. You heard me. Hurrah for Spain! We are all with you, Captain Misfortune. You have managed to convince us. You will have documents to permit you free navigation issued to you in the name of the king.
I'll bet they hang you from the highest lamppost in the town square.
And have a Thanksgiving for your funeral, Captain.
The rum they'll drink at my funeral hasn't been put into barrels yet. I want all of you to sign an oath swearing fidelity to the king. And with this document in hand, I shall go myself to Hispaniola. Good evening, my friend.
What are you doing here? How often do I have to tell you not to show yourself here without warning me?
There was no time to warn you. Besides, this was the only way I could be sure of seeing you.
You have not respected our agreement either. By gad, weren't you content with the cargo of silver I sent? Who gave you the order to raid Santa Cruz?
No one gives me orders to do or not to do what I want. The operations you put me onto serve only as exercises to keep our sea legs nimble.
I warn you, Olonese, don't go beyond the limit of my endurance if you want your sea legs to get you out of here.
Are you trying to frighten me? You and I both know too much about each other.
Be careful. At Santa Cruz, one of them was my niece.
Did she get away all right?
Her name is Isabella.
Ah. Why, then that beautiful girl would have been she. Ah. I treated her with great consideration. And she'd be with me on the Tortugas if a scurrilous buccaneer hadn't stolen her away.
You're beginning to show your age, Olonese. That scurrilous buccaneer is the ex-commander of the Spanish Navy, Luis Monterrey.
The one who carried the hidden silver?
Right. And it is to him that I owe the safe return of my niece.
You owe him that as well. It's the pirates' oath of fidelity. They all signed it, even if some could only make a cross beside their names.
Magnificent. This offer of allegiance must never reach the Viceroy.
Huh. Perhaps I could change their minds. But it's not going to be easy with that Monterrey who has great influence with my men.
Don't make any mistake. The English have already accepted my pact. I was forced to make them friendly overtures, since in Spain they're beginning to suspect.
Suspect on what grounds?
The disappearance of that Pedro Salvador, and the fact he died at the trial of Monterrey, and eventually the truth will out however we fight it. And I don't wish to hang in particular.
It's no time to be talking about the gallows.
Yes, it is. If it weren't for the declaration of war, I'd already be under investigation. We've no other way out. You and your ships will go over to the English. That way, the Spaniards won't have a prey in their desperation. And after they've been defeated, no one will be thinking about me.
And you'll come out of it with mountains of gold.
The mountains will be half yours, as my accomplice.
Yes. Everything must be destroyed on the Tortugas to prevent them from becoming a supply base for the Spanish men of war. And we must arrange for our ships to be turned over to the English fleet. That'll be the end of piracy.
A fitting end, which will leave you one of the richest men in the whole of the New World.
Ha, certainly. I shall turn into a respectable plantation owner. I must create a past, though. A kind of guarantee. I need something to put me beyond the reach of the slightest suspicion.
Your gold will make people forget anything you wish.
Even people like you?
I'd be the last one to betray you.
Certainly. But when you no longer have any need of me, maybe you'll change your mind then. And no one prefers to divide what he might easily keep all to himself. Unless, of course, he divides it within his family.
You're implying that
this future rich plantation owner in the New World should be related to you by marriage. I want Isabella.
Isabella?
If you agree to this...
But how dare you?
If you raise your voice once again, I'll slit your throat like a goat's, do you hear? I'm asking for Isabella. Give me your answer.
I'll give 2/3 of the gold if you promise to go far away, back to Europe.
No, I only want my half. My half plus Isabella. Or would you prefer that I go and give an account to Captain Monterrey of how I learned of the cargo of silver?
No, you mustn't do a thing like that. What could you gain by it?
The sight of you dangling in air from a gallows, Your Excellency. All right, then. I have the honor to request the hand of your niece in marriage.
Have it your way.
That's better. We seem to see eye to eye. I shall be a good husband.
After the destruction of the Tortugas, you shall have Isabella.
After? Why do you say after? Otherwise, you couldn't trust me.
As you say, we see eye to eye.
Now, these are my plans. Captain Brooke. In the name of His Most Catholic Majesty, etc., etc., I grant you this document to permit you free navigation during the war against the English. Captain Lamont, this one goes to you. You'll be the handsomest captain in all Spain. Brooke, here's one for you. Everyone aboard his own ship. We're sailing as soon as possible.
And I? I haven't a ship anymore.
Don't get excited. There's another assignment for you. It seems that the governor knows who you are and expressed his wish to show you consideration. He has named you Commandant of the Tortugas. The islands will stay as they are to be a supply base for a part of the Spanish fleet. Tomorrow, the first of the Spanish ships will arrive, and you'll be here with your men to do the honors of the occasion. You see, it's addressed to Commander Luis Monterrey, in the name of the King of Spain. Will that do?
I would have preferred to return to sea again. But if these are my orders, I'll obey them.
Perfect. You'll see that Spain will repay you as well as you deserve.
This is one time I go with you.
No,
Why not?
I don't want a woman on board.
Good luck.
Are you happy, Captain, to be serving your country again?
Yes, to serve my country.
But you would like to be at sea again, eh?
What's wrong, Anna?
I don't want him to sail this time without me.
I understand. I'll have my men help you. Go, go! Aye, aye, sir. Just leave it to me.
Thank you, Captain.
Keep our place at the head of the formation. Break out full sail! Break out full sail! Stay close together! Remain in battle formation!
You! Why, I'll beat you to death! Now I understand why Oronese didn't want me sailing on this ship with him. I'd only be in the way, huh? But don't you realize what sort of life you can expect to lead? I, too, you know. I was captured by force of arms. And when I was brought down here the first time and I entered this cabin, another woman was leaving it. The one who preceded me. But in spite of everything, I guess I really love this life and this ship. It reminds me of a caravan of my mother's. She was a gypsy woman. I was forced against my will to come. What kind of force brought you here? I was sold. Who could have sold you?
My uncle. He's in league with that Oronese. They're going to turn all the ships over to the English. I was part of the bargain. Help me. I beg you to help me to get away. I must reach Luis and warn him in time.
We can do nothing. We've put out too far from the coast.
I want to try it anyhow. Please help me.
But don't you understand? The coast is too far away. It would be foolish. There's no way to reach him. It's impossible now.
How did you get aboard? Can't you see this is the ladies' cabin? Get out of here!
I'll make you pay for this. You filthy traitor, you!
traitor! He's betrayed all of us! That lady down there is the governor's daughter! She told me! No! No! Traitor! No! Help me, please! No! No!
Does one of you have anything he wants to say? Get back to your stations, then.
The Spanish fleet! It's coming into the harbor now! The Spanish fleet! That's my ship leading the fleet. The Victoria. The flag. Right away, Captain.
They're hoisting the Spanish flag. Why, of all the brazen impudence.
Your Excellency, before we launch an attack on the Tortugas, wouldn't it be advisable to negotiate with the pirates?
I do not agree with your views, Commander.
The aid of the pirates would be decisive in a naval battle against the English. We ought to come to terms with them, subject to the King's approval.
I won't come to terms with those cutthroats.
In war, we can't be choosy of our allies. Victory is the important thing, and any means justifies that end.
It's my decision. The Tortugas and those buccaneers are a blight that has to be wiped out. The faster you destroy the men and the installations, the better it'll be for all concerned.
As you wish, sir.
Give the word to attack at once.
I am at your orders, Your Excellency.
All ships come about in a line broadside!
Farewell, Commander Luis.
Finished. Olanese is in league with the governor.
Isabella. What do you know of Isabella?
Isabella is with Olanese aboard his ship. The governor sold her to him.
Get the women to safety! Run and take cover! Take care of her! Done for me. From now on, you watch out for our captain.
I will. I promise I will. If I could just manage to get aboard one of those ships, I'd kill a dozen with my bare hands for you.
Don't leave him alone. Don't leave him now.
I'll see that they pay for this. I have to, for Gogo's sake.
abandon their guns and follow me with their daggers. In the water, everybody! We'll swim to the Victoria and stay underwater. Hurry!
The information we had was entirely correct. We've surprised them when they were defenseless. Gentlemen, this is a great day for us. What we're witnessing at first hand is the end of piracy.
Gentlemen, grant me the right to punish a traitor to our country. Here is the man who, by secretly forming an alliance with the pirates, has sent many brave men to their deaths. And now he's in agreement with the English.
No, don't! Have mercy! Please don't take my life.
If you want to save your life, shout out that you're a traitor. Tell your soldiers that you sold them to the English. Tell my men about the pact you made with Bolognese. Speak!
I didn't know anything. Remember, we're at war. I was carrying out orders.
Be careful now. I'm running out of patience.
Very well. I'll confess it. Everything said by Captain Monterrey is the truth.
You even sold Isabella. Where's Bolognese waiting for you?
Where's Bolognese? Further east. From there we were to set sail for the rendezvous with the English.
You'd better pray that nothing has happened to Isabella. Did you hear that? It wasn't Spain who betrayed us. Now listen to what I say. And remember it well. Spain is our country. This is the end a traitor deserves. He betrayed Spain just as Bolognese betrayed the pirates of the Tortugas. Men of Spain, we are fighting the same battle as you are. Men of the Tortugas, let's go after Bolognese before it's too late. Steady ahead and set on full sail!
The helmsman has just told me to inform you that we are getting close now to where the English fleet is.
Tell that idiot that I'm the captain of this ship, and follow the course. It's about time. certainly took long enough to settle accounts with those fine patriots.
Ship ahoy! Up the port side!
Reduce sail and come about! The other ships will follow the same course as before!
The Victoria's coming alongside!
In a few minutes, your uncle will be here.
This is the end of your career. Which yardarm do you prefer to be hanged from? Paro! Paro!
Every man for himself! The ship is sinking!
Isabella.
Good. That rat Olanese is dead. He wanted to sell us all out. That ship is signaling that we are headed straight into the jaws of the English. Prepare to bring her about!
Set your course to follow the Spanish fleet! Full starboard helm!
Take the course the Spanish are following, and under full sail!
Therefore we, Viceroy of New Spain, in the name of His Most Catholic Majesty, the King of Spain, as a result of the reversal of the decision of the court, and in view of the royal warrant and commission of rehabilitation, restore to this valiant commander his rank and his full honors. Careful. I'm still only an officer in the Royal Navy.
I'm afraid I'll have to settle for that, Commander.